Live now.
Pode.
Good evening, everyone. We will now begin the evening service of the Miroku Association headquarters, expressing our gratitude to God and Meishu-sama for blessings and protection received while participating in the construction of paradise on earth. Amatsu-Norito and Miroku prayer, please stand. 高天原にかむずまります。かむろぎかむろみのみごともちて、すめみおやかむいさないのみごと、つくしのいぶかのたち花の、おどのあらぎはらにみそぎはらいたもうときにがりませる。あらいどのおかみたちもろもろのまがごとつみけがれろ。あらいたまえ清めたまえとまおすことのよしをあまつかみくにつかみやおよろすの神たちともに雨のふちこまのみ降り立ててきこしめせとかしこみむまおす弥勒大神、守りたまえ、先はえたまえ。弥勒大神、守りたまえ、先はえたまえ。教えみ親主の神、守りたまえ、先はえたまえ。教えみ親主の神、守りたまえ、先はえたまえ。かんながらたまちはえませ。かんながらたまちはえませ。Great God of light, creator and giver of all life, in accordance with your divine will, the long age of night draws to an end. Your radiant divine light, shining ever more brilliantly, awakens the dawn of the glorious age of light, a time long awaited by all humanity. We thank you for guiding us to your divine plan and for the privilege of channeling and receiving Johrei. May our spirits and bodies be illuminated and purified as we live your truth given to us by Meishu-sama. Make us pure and effective instruments of your divine light, so that we may serve you and all those with whom we come in contact. May paradise on earth be realized, with health, peace, and prosperity, a reality in our lives. Great God of light, bless and protect us. Radiate our souls with your divine light, so that we may truly become instruments of your great plan. Please be seated. We will now receive group Johrei. May God and Meishu-sama bless you. We will now listen to a reading from Meishu-sama's teachings. Makoto. Makoto, the spirit of love and integrity, is the one power that can build a new and better world. Though the world is full of worry and hardship, we can live with peace of mind because we have the staff of love to lean upon. Whatever problems and troubles may arise in life, those who choose pure love as their guiding principle will never be afraid. The key to the solution of all problems, whether they concern an individual, a nation, or the world, is Makoto love. The lack of administrative abilities stems from a lack of love. The shortage of material blessings is caused by a shortage of love. The absence of morality is due to an absence of love. The deterioration of social order is the result of the deterioration of love. Indeed, the basic cause of all distressing problems is an insufficiency of love. Religion, education, and the arts are only skeletal forms without love at their core. Makoto. Makoto, I say to all humanity that the key to solving all problems is love and love alone. Thank you all very much for attending this evening service. I would like to share with you today again some study of Meishu-sama's teachings. But first of all, I'd like to thank you all for your dedication, for your services, and also to make an announcement that because of the 4th of July, this holidays, this Monday, we will be closed. It's 4th of July will be Sunday, and we will have our service on the 4th of July at 11 a.m. So it's very important for you to know we will be open for our monthly appreciation service here at the headquarters at 11 a.m. And you're all invited, those locals that can be here in person, please come. And we will be also online through Zoom, Facebook, and YouTube at 11 a.m. And today, last time we were together on Tuesday, we studied about Johrei. And today we will be studying about purification and the law of spiritual affinity. And in order to do this study, it's important to know that I base all these studies on Meishu-sama's teachings, the book called Fragments from the Teachings of Meishu-sama, where it says, increased delight, accelerated purification. Meishu-sama says, it is vital we come to realize that what we have called sickness is actually a natural process of reestablishing our health, and that it is associated with the dispelling of the clouds accumulated on the spiritual body. So the physical body must throw off its toxins. Those toxins, they are inherited toxins,
ingested, acquired, or generated in whatever manner. So in order that its functions may not be diminished. So all the discomfort or illness experienced is the unpleasant indication of the natural discharge or natural elimination of these poisons, these toxins. As the age of light advances and the intensity of the light increases, purification will become more severe in corresponding degree. The raising of the vibratory level through Johrei and through service will modify the severity by progressively dispelling the spiritual clouds, thus preparing one for the more intense light without having to undergo too sudden or severe purification. So in the coming daylight age, the light will be intense and direct. And that's what we are experiencing now. Like the rays of the sun at midday, an increase in purification can already be observed in every field. So everything that is false, everything that is bad and impure will be brought to the surface and will be eliminated. So there will be more physical illness, natural calamity, accident, financial crisis, and so forth. We already seen this. So this general purification of the planet is what is meant by the last judgment. We will gradually see it becoming a reality. So those who have been sufficiently purified will be better able to adjust to this intense direct light. So for those who have little or no spiritual understanding, it will be a time of great tribulation or hardship. But remember one thing, Meishu-sama says, purification is governed or is controlled by the law of affinity. So, as we all are, it's like all processes is governed by this law of affinity. So wherever clouds or vibrations of a negative nature accumulate, an activity to dispel those spiritual clouds occurs by natural law. So this applies not only to conditions of the physical body, but includes misfortunes, miseries, accidents, and natural disasters. It is not by coincidence that these things occur. They are caused by the thoughts and deeds of human beings. When we come to understand this, so we begin to see the reason for everything that is happening. And Meishu-sama even mentioned about the flood in Kyushu area in Japan that was a result of an accumulation of impurities, which gave rise to this great purification. So natural disasters such as hurricanes, floods, they are all man-made. They are brought about by the wrong thinking and doing of the population. So before we complain about hardships and sufferings, we should realize that it is we who have caused them and that we can blame no one else. So this is what Meishu-sama teaches. Meishu-sama is pretty much direct. He doesn't go around the bushes. He says what it is. And he always encourages us to do good deeds and be happy. And also he will always tell us what's going on, why, what's the reason why we are going through. By reading the teachings, you will understand many things. But he will not say something that is not the truth. It will be straight and direct. Like Meishu-sama said, the majority of people unaware of these laws of nature, they overlook their own faults and they begin to place the blame upon Mother Nature. They blame other people, they blame society, education, or the government, Often people in leading position, they hold and develop the same wrong viewpoint. This is a great mistake. It causes many people to be filled with resentment, which in turn results in additional clouds or toxins. So many people end up in permanent difficulties by their own doing. In extreme cases, they even commit murder or suicide, experiencing more serious spiritual consequences. Ignorance of the true reason for our misfortune and suffering causes the vicious cycle. It's like a circle to continue. Now, purification, as the name says, purification means to become pure, to purify. It's a good word. But Meishu-sama says purification takes on different forms because of the difference in causation. Different causes. For example, when clouds are formed by monetary or material wrongs, such as stealing, fraud, which causes loss to others, or when you're living in wasteful excess, they are often eradicated by following material losses. If we take other examples, such as loss due to fire, fraud, failure in business, large expenses for illness, etc. We see each is also as a way to purify. It's a purification process when you have to go through all these processes. You may call this like a punishment for wrong of material or financial nature, but there are many examples of that we can share about all this. There is one example Meishu-sama says about reckless children. Now, some children are really something. They are reckless, who throw away huge legacies of the family. Huh? Unconsciously, those kids, those children, they are compensating for the spiritual clouds accumulated by their ancestors. In such cases, the spirit of an ancestor often chooses one of the descendants to perform the mission to purify the entire family of its clouds, so that the family line may prosper and not die out. So it would be useless, therefore, to try to reform, to change such an individual and change their way. In the case of two sons, for example, one is reckless and unmanageable. The other is very well behaved. The one brother would seem bad, he's unmanageable, he's bad, and discreet, and maybe discredited to his family from a regular viewpoint. However, when considered from the spiritual viewpoint, it is not. The one brother is, this brother is performing the mission of purifying the spiritual clouds of this family. Thus, it is not possible to decide the good or the bad of things from the human viewpoint alone. So all those examples show us that it's so important to study the teaching so that we understand more what's going on in many people's lives. Like Meishu-sama says, in sickness too, there are reasons for the many conditions. There are reasons for it, depending upon the clouds, the spiritual clouds formed. Wrong acts hidden from the eyesight of others often are purified through some kind of eye trouble. Hurtful, cynical, or spiteful words, painful to hear, may find purification through ear or tongue trouble. Doing something to cause worry to others can bring headaches to the doer. Thus, the purification of the spiritual clouds is inevitable, sooner or later, in conformity with the law of spiritual affinity. Whether or not one escapes punishment by society, by the law, one cannot escape divine law, which is absolute. But sincere people receiving and giving Johrei may experience severe purification sometimes. But strangely, the more dedicated they are, the more they have purification. It appears to be something bad, but it is not. Unless their faith is strong, they may waver. However, this is a most important time. While God's blessing will reward them for their devotion, their spiritual clouds must first be dispelled to a certain degree. In the same way that an unclean container must first be cleansed, be cleaned before it can be used for healthy and clean food. It's the same, it's a purification process. If they can endure their suffering patiently, they will find themselves rewarded far beyond their expectations. Meishu-sama says, what is good, whatever that is good for us is good, of course. But what seems to be disastrous or unfortunate is also good, since it serves as a purifying process. So when it is over, everything will be better. The same truth is for disease or any other purification. Once it's finished, when you purify, everything begins to transform. So that's why the secret to happiness lies in one understanding and accepting this law of spiritual affinity, this law of purification. So I'd like to thank you all very much for listening to this teachings of Meishu-sama, this study, and I really hope you have a great, great evening. And tomorrow we will be here for the morning service, and Sunday we will have our headquarters monthly appreciation service. Thank you all very much and have a good evening. Thank you. This brings to a conclusion our evening service. Thank you everyone for joining us and have a blessed evening.